This is a porcelain vase. The guest's uncle gifted it to his mother. This piece of cloisonne was crafted by one of the foremost artists, Ando Jubi, from the Meihei to Taisho periods in Japan. It's a jade blue vase in baluster form, with silver rim bands and arrangements of prunus, bamboo, and chrysanthemum designs. This 19th century piece also has the artist's mark at the bottom, indicating authenticity. In a retail setting, this jade blue vase with silver rim bands would be worth
sell for around $6,000.
Wow, that's nice.
A stunning collection of vintage beauty. 3 elegant pieces show off the skill of the past. The guest shared that her mother's mother inherited a collection from her cousin, who had received it from his parents, and now she has inherited them. The appraiser began by examining a Cartier compact, dating from around 1940 to 1945, featuring a small ruby, set in 18-karat gold. These elegant compacts were used by ladies in the evening. Next, the appraiser looked at another Cartier piece from the Art Deco period, circa 1925. This compact, made in Paris and retailed in London, was crafted with black enamel and diamond accents, though it had some edge damage. It opened to reveal a mirror and a compact and was more elaborate than the first one.
More elaborate than the later version.
Okay.
It has a little bit of damage here
I've seen
along the edge.
Third item was a Minadore, a woman's evening bag from the 1930s, considered the chicest piece in the collection. This bag, made by Arnold Ossertag of Paris, featured diamonds and rubies in a floral design, with the rubies likely being high-quality Burmese stones. The Minadore, made of 18-karat gold, contained a watch, lighter, and compartments for lipstick, powder, a mirror, and cigarettes. The appraiser remarked on the wonderful collection and noted that the original owner must have been quite a lady, to which the guest agreed. While examining the piece, the appraiser said,
Conservative estimate would be $15,000 to $20,000.
That's amazing.
The condition issue reduces the Deco Cartier's case's value to $6,000 to $8,000. For Minadore, the appraiser said,
Because of the condition issue, I would say at auction $6,000 to $8,000.
Oh my gosh.
The guest inherited a rug from her grandmother, a collector of Native American art. The rug was identified as Navajo weaving from New Mexico or Arizona, depicting Navajo Yi figures. Yi figures represented deities and were associated with a 9-day healing ceremony, showcasing their extensive knowledge. The weaving was created on a vertical loom without patterns, with the design emerging as the weaver worked, a testament to the weaver's skill. The weaver used hand-spun wool yarns, combining natural brown and cream colors to create a unique heathery gray-brown color. The figures were embellished with jewelry, clothing, and eagle feathers, symbolizing protection and significance, adding to the rug value in the weaving. The weaving was dated to the 1930s from the Four Corners area of the Navajo Reservation. The rug's beauty, symbolism, and historical significance made it a valuable and cherished possession, being appraised at
that I would put on this in a retail type of situation would be about $7,500.
Wow.
$7,500.
Dad and Grandpa will be interested to know that. We've been wondering that for a while.
A former college basketball referee for 32 years with a passion for the Atlantic Coast Conference, ACC, brought in a 1982 NCAA championship basketball signed by the University of North Carolina, UNC, Tar Heels. He received the ball as a gift from legendary coach Dean Smith in recognition of his contributions to the school's fundraising efforts. In commemorating UNC's first championship under Coach Smith, a milestone victory for the team and the coach himself. Dean Smith had been with the Tar Heels since 1961, and the 1982 championship win came in his 21st season at the helm. The team that year featured a powerhouse lineup, including freshmen Michael Jordan and James Worthy, both destined for the Basketball Hall of Fame. The championship game itself was a classic, a seesaw battle against the Georgetown Hoyas, led by freshman Patrick Ewing. With 15 lead changes throughout the game, the tension was high. Ultimately, Michael Jordan's iconic shot, with 17 seconds remaining, sealed the victory for UNC, solidifying his place as a college basketball legend. The guest had kept the basketball in pristine condition, rarely even taking it out of its case. The exceptional condition and provenance of the ball attributes to an insurance value of
Value-wise, because of the condition and because of the provenance, I would put an insurance value of this of $10,000.
This baseball bat is unlike any other you have seen, covered in autographs from 357 baseball players across various eras. His wife had impulsively purchased the bat at a comic store for $60, and the guest had since embarked on a mission to collect signatures. He fondly recalled attending sports card shows with his son, patiently waiting to meet and get autographs from legendary players. Among his favorites were Mel Allen, a player considered to be on par with Joe DiMaggio in his time, and Stan Musial, who the guest believed to be the best hitter ever. There were dozens of Hall of Famers and many other interesting players represented on the bat. The guest mentioned his desire to add Derek Jeter's autograph as the next big accomplishment. The white bat provided a perfect canvas for the autographs, making the collection unique and very valuable. While the wife had purchased the bat for a mere $60, the estimated insurance value of the collection is
We wouldn't insure it for anything less than $10,000.
$10,000? Oh, that's wow! It's unbelievable. Wow, yeah, that's very nice.
a remarkable collection of letters written by Anais Nin, a famous author, to the guest's grandmother was brought in. The letters dated back to 1920, a time when Nin was still a teenager but already displaying her exceptional writing talent and love for nature. The guest's grandmother and Nin had been childhood friends who grew up together on Long Island. Their correspondence began during their summer vacations when their families went separate ways. One particular letter excitedly shared Nin's achievement of publishing her very first poem in a prestigious literary journal. The unique opportunity these letters provided to see the development of a renowned author and the friendship between Nin and the guest's grandmother. In terms of value, the individual letter presented is worth.
For the letter we have here, I would value it retail at between $1,000 to $1,500.
Wow.
For the entire collection of letters, the estimated value was a much higher
Collection of Anais Nin letters she brought in today between $4,000 to $5,000.
The woman inherited a remarkable pair of bronze sculptures from her great-great-great-grandfather, Richard Morris Hunt, a renowned architect. The sculptures were maquettes, or scale models, created by another artistic giant, Daniel Chester French, for a monument to Richard Morris Hunt in Central Park. Richard Morris Hunt was a leading architect who left his mark on New York City with his designs, including the base of the Statue of Liberty and the east wing of the Louvre. The monument in Central Park honored his contributions to the city's architectural landscape. The sculptures themselves were particularly interesting. One muse was depicted holding a miniature model of the administration building for the 1893 Columbia World's Fair in Chicago. Another of Richard Morris Hunt's signature designs. Both sculptures were dated between 1898 and 1899, indicating the time frame within which French created them. The sculpture held immense historical significance due to their connection to two prominent figures in American art and architecture. Considering their pedigree and rarity, the estimated auction value is to be.
Our sense is that if you had to put a value for auction on them, probably looking somewhere for the pair in the $20,000 to $30,000 range.
Wow, yes.
Many people have personal or ancestral stories connected to the first edition of the Book of Mormon. Our guest today shared a connection by presenting a first edition of the Book of Mormon that has been in his family since 1833.
There were 5 early editions of the Book of Mormon published that are extremely significant to the LDS faith.
This book was published in 1830 by E.B. Grandin. Grandin, a printer based in Palmyra, New York, is best known for this significant publication. On one of the pages, the guest's great-great-grandfather wrote a note, adding a personal touch to this historic volume. Interestingly, unlike modern editions, the first edition lacks chapters and verses. Moreover, the book is bound in pigskin, and the guest has had preservation work done to maintain its condition. At auction, this historically significant book of the Latter-day Saints would fetch a value of.
The first edition Book of Mormon, I would value this at $75,000 at retail.
That's amazing.
An exquisite diamond ring has been brought by the guest, which belonged to her husband's grandmother. The diamond was believed to be primarily from India, although the exact location was unclear. The appraiser was impressed by the diamond and explained its significance. This diamond had been hand-cut around 1890, exhibiting the craftsmanship of a bygone era. The cushion cut was considered distinctive because of its handcrafted nature. The appraiser noted that the diamond was set in a platinum mount, adding to its elegance. The guest mentioned she wore the diamond occasionally to avoid damaging it. Considering its rarity and exceptional quality, the suggested value was,
I would say, at auction, you would be looking in the region of around about £25,000.
Wow, thank you.
Inscribed with care, this signed photo holds rare memories shared, a treasure beyond comparison. During a TV appraisal, a man shared memories of working with Ed Whitehead and Virgil Grissom. They tragically died in a 1967 fire. He described the intense work environment during the space race, where paperwork often lagged behind. He also recounted his grief after the accident, prompting him to start collecting autographs from his astronaut friends. One photo showed him in blue, responsible for keeping an eye on the astronauts due to their unpredictable nature. He had been on the X-1 mission, and when he signed the Apollo photo, he hadn't been officially assigned to a spacecraft yet. Although he was slated for Apollo, the mission hadn't taken place, so he simply wrote Apollo on it. That detail adds to its significance. The expert evaluated the photos, rarity of one signed by Neil Armstrong. While examining the condition of the item, the appraiser said,
"These two pictures alone, another $8,000 to $11,000 at auction."
Okay.
The guest had brought a collection of American World War I posters to the show. He began collecting these posters in the 1960s after discovering a vibrant one in an antique shop. Over the years, his collection grew to 85 posters. The appraiser examined several of them, highlighting their themes and historical context. One notable poster by Joseph Pennell, featuring a dark background, depicted America under attack. The poster was considered valuable due to its rarity and emotional impact. Another poster used the image of a pretty girl to sell the idea of fighting for liberty. The third poster depicted a naval ship and submarine, highlighting their remarkable history. Lastly, the final poster showcased the role of women in the war effort, particularly in nursing. Given the historical significance, the estimated value of the collection was,
I make that round about £32,000.
Wow.
A worn Monopoly board was brought by the guest, carrying intriguing historical significance. This board was part of the infamous 1963 robbery, where £2.5 million was stolen from a Royal Mail train in Buckinghamshire. The robbers used the Monopoly board to pass time while hiding in a farmhouse. When the police closed in, the robbers hastily escaped, leaving the game behind. The guest, curator of the Thames Valley Police Museum, explained that this board is now displayed there. The item bears fingerprints from one of the train robbers, further enhancing its historical value. Additionally, it featured thematic touches, such as a community chest card and an in-jail card. Despite finding difficulty in valuing such an item, the value appraised was,
but with its historic significance, it's possible to say perhaps it's £100 to £200 of someone's money.
The guest had brought a harp from the estate of Jack Palance, a famous movie actor. The appraiser identified it as an 18th century harp made around 1770 in Paris. The beautiful piece was crafted by George Kazuno, a renowned maker of pedal harps. The harp featured 7 pedals, although 2 were missing, and distinctive windows showing the internal mechanism. This instrument was considered a hallmark of Cusano's work, showcasing intricate anthus decoration. Despite minor issues, the harp's decoration remained remarkably intact. The appraiser acknowledged the harp's historical significance. Given its excellent condition, the assessed value was,
I think this harp, even though it's non-functional and should never be made functional, retail value about $15,000, perhaps a little bit more. Let's call it $15,000.
Wonderful.
Fred Marriott's grandson brought a treasure trove of memorabilia tied to his grandfather's racing career with the Stanley Steamer Company. The collection included a trophy Fred won at a local race in Reedville, Massachusetts. However, the real star of the show was a cup from Ormond Beach, Florida. In 1906, Fred achieved an incredible feat at Ormond Beach. He set a land speed record of 127.6 miles per hour in a steam car. This record remained unbroken for over a century, solidifying Fred's place in automotive history. The memorabilia is of great significance, particularly the medals Fred received around the same time period. Because so few items from this era of auto racing exist, it was difficult to determine an exact value. However, acknowledging the historical importance of the medals, especially those awarded directly to Fred, the combined value of these badges was estimated to be
just the badges alone would be between $10,000 and $15,000.
Another fascinating piece was the early trophy, though not from Fred's record-breaking race. Despite not being the most historically significant piece, due to its age and connection to Fred's racing, the estimated value is
This is going to have a value of about $2,000 to $3,000. Okay.
But perhaps the most valuable item in the collection wasn't a trophy or medal at all. Fred, who served as the chief mechanic at the Stanley factory, meticulously kept a logbook recording every car produced and delivered between 1904 and 1923. According to the guest, this logbook was the only one of its kind in existence, making it a goldmine for Stanley steamer collectors. The estimated value of this item is
I conferred with a lot of colleagues. We think something in the neighborhood of $5,000 would be a fair estimate for it.
Wow.
a collection of artwork and journals from a 1913 expedition to Colombia by the American Museum of Natural History was brought in. The artist on the expedition was Luis Agassiz Fuertes, a famous naturalist artist known for his bird illustrations. The guest's grandfather, who participated in the expedition, had received these items from Fuertes himself. The collection included two main pieces, a watercolor painting of a parrot and a graphite drawing of a hunt scene. Both were signed by Fuertes and identified as being created during the Colombia expedition. This particular sketchbook page is quite interesting, combining sketches of birds with handwritten notes. Fuertes' work are highly collectible right now, making these works of his highly valuable. The parrot painting was estimated to be worth,
I would estimate the parrot at between $5,000 and $7,000.
Wow.
The hunt scene, and the sketchbooks together,
the hunt scene at $3,000 to $5,000,
Okay.
and the three sketchbooks, which also include other drawings, at $3,000 to $5,000.
rocking chair, estimated to be around 90 years old, was brought in by the guest. However, a surprising fact about the chair is that it is much older, likely crafted in the 1780s in the mid-Atlantic region. This made it significantly more valuable than a typical child's rocking chair, which were both common and inexpensive. Several aspects of the chair contributed to its worth. Unlike its more plentiful counterparts, this chair boasted a unique aged surface with multiple paint layers. Hints of the original red paint peeked through, contrasting with a later Victorian red coat that exhibited a desirable alligatoring effect. The chair's form was another highlight. The original curved rockers and beautifully turned details were exactly what collectors sought after. Even minor imperfections like the replaced seat and a broken slat, which had occurred a long time ago, didn't significantly detract from the value. Considering its age, well-preserved condition, and the unique features that appealed to collectors, the estimated retail price is,
in this condition, I'm sure a collector would happily pay a retail price of about $1,500 for it.
Wow.
These fascinating set of documents were inherited from the guest's great-great-great-grandfather, Benjamin Crowninshield. The documents turned out to be a letter of marque and related papers from the War of 1812. A letter of marque essentially authorized a private citizen to act as a privateer, a government-sanctioned pirate targeting enemy ships. In this case, the U.S. government was granting Benjamin Crowninshield and two of his brothers the right to capture British ships during the War of 1812. The documents were particularly interesting because they were signed by both James Madison, the president at the time, and James Monroe, the Secretary of State. One document, however, was a clerical copy, meaning it was a replica signed by a clerk rather than the actual officials. The estimated combined value of the three documents is,
for the three together, which tie in, I would think a collector would certainly pay between $4,000 and $5,000.
However, in a recent auction, the value of the collection rose to $5,000 to $7,000.
So
It's a lot more than I figured.
I hope that made the long wait worthwhile.
It did. That's interesting.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Guest brought a painting by Charles Shepard Chapman. Charles Shepard Chapman was an American painter born in 1879, best remembered for his landscape of the Grand Canyon at the American Museum of Natural History. He was a teacher at the Art Students League School in Manhattan and also taught at the University of Wyoming. The guest grew up in Morristown, which was home to many artists, including Mr. Chapman. Mr. Chapman made this painting at the St. Lawrence River, where he had his family home. The painting was given to the artist by Charles Chapman himself, and she had a personal connection to the painting and the artist. The painting held sentimental value for the guest and was appraised at $8,500. Inherited from the guest's great-grandfather, this beautiful card table has stood the test of time. The table was likely purchased during a grand European tour in the early 1900s, possibly around 1912. While the original owner intended to travel to Asia, they cut the trip short and returned home. The table is a Hepplewhite-style card table, a popular design used for playing card games in the 18th and early 19th centuries. The table folds against the wall when not in use, and its legs extend to transform it into a playing surface when needed. The table is crafted from high-quality materials, including solid mahogany for the top and mahogany veneer for the apron. The inlay work on the front leg is particularly noteworthy. Individual pieces of wood, likely holly or maple, are meticulously fitted and then subjected to a special technique using hot sand to create a three-dimensional effect. This specific combination of inlay styles, bookend and icicle, is a hallmark of Rhode Island furniture, particularly pieces made in Newport or Providence. A strong Rhode Island influence in the table's design elements is recognizable: the demi-lune shape, the crossbanding, and the inlay style. Given its exceptional quality, Rhode Island heritage, and excellent condition, the estimated table's retail value is...
I would put a retail value of $15,000 to $17,000 on the table. It's a superb example of a Rhode Island card table.
This coin silver tankard, inherited by the guest from her late boyfriend's estate, is an 18th century American piece crafted by George Aiken, who was a notable Baltimore silversmith.
There was not a tremendous amount of silver made in the United States in the 18th century.
George Aiken began his silver-making career in Baltimore around 1787, and this tankard bears his clear mark on the bottom, dating it to approximately 1790. The names Griffith and Lee, engraved on the tankard, link it to prominent Baltimore families of that era.
And that was a mark that was used around 1790. He began making silver in Baltimore as early as 1787, which is when he first ran some ads in the local papers.
This tankard is a rare example of large hollowware, as most silver items of that period were small, such as spoons and cream pitchers. It is made from coined silver, a material common from the late 18th century to the mid-19th century in the United States. Given its connection to a southern colonial silversmith, this piece would auction for...
Came up to auction today, it would conservatively bring $12,000 to $15,000, maybe as much as $15,000 to $20,000.
Wow.
On display in the show is a Navajo chief's blanket, which was gifted to our guest's great-great-great-grandfather by...
This was either a wedding gift or a gift of thanks for surgery by a Navajo chief.
Chief Colero. Chief Colero was a leader of the Ute Mountain Utes, known for his skills as a horseman and warrior. This blanket was crafted by the Navajo tribe in the early 19th century.
To a lot of the Plains tribes during the 1860s and 70s.
It is adorned with beautiful indigo dye, natural dark brown, and ivory colors. It also features a speckled natural dye derived from insects. The wear along its edges indicates that this blanket has been used. Given its condition and provenance, this blanket would accrue an auction value of...
I think your blanket could easily sell at auction for $60,000 to $80,000.
Fascinating piece of family history, a die-cut advertisement, is from the 1930s for the Oscar Mayer Company. This wasn't your typical framed poster. The advertisement was made of cardboard that had been specifically cut out to resemble the shape of the image it displayed. In its original context, it would have stood upright in the guest's great-uncle's deli, silently promoting the Oscar Mayer brand to customers. The advertisement is more than just a marketing tool, but a window into American culture and culinary history. The Oscar Mayer Company, a name synonymous with hot dogs, had been part of American life for over 3 decades by the time this advertisement was created. The image itself, rendered in a mouth-watering style, was a testament to early 20th century food advertising. But the value of the advertisement extended beyond its historical significance. The Art Deco design elements, particularly in the lettering and background, added another layer of appeal. This unique combination of factors, historical context, artistic value, and eye-catching imagery, made the advertisement a desirable item for a wider range of collectors. While some appraisers focused on its functionality as an advertisement assigned a value of,
at auction might fetch between $400 and $600. Okay.
to more enthusiastic buyers at a well-publicized auction, the value could reach
This could fetch between $2,000 and $3,000.
The guest brought in a corkscrew with an unusual design, a caricature of a man with a prominent nose. The figure is Andrew Volstead, the American congressman who authored the Volstead Act, which enforced prohibition in the United States. These corkscrews were mass-produced during the Prohibition period, likely as a playful jab at the legislation. Despite being a common item from that period, the corkscrew status is a piece of Americana. The estimated value is to be
They sell for about $100, $150, something like that.
This Navajo weaving, dating from the late 1930s to early 1940s, was part of a collection of Indian artifacts owned by the guest's parents. The 1940s was a period when Navajo weavings were highly sought after by collectors. Unlike the typical geometric designs commonly seen in Navajo textiles, this particular piece stands out with its folk art characteristics. It originated from the New Mexico, Arizona area and represents a unique blend of traditional craftsmanship and artistic expression. However, this piece reflects the creativity and cultural significance of the Navajo weaving tradition and is worth,
In this condition, probably $1,000.
Okay.
Take it to a professional Navajo weaving cleaner, then $3,000 to $5,000 in a gallery.
this guest presented a family heirloom in the form of a necessaire, which is a testament to the elegance of the Art Deco period.
It has some really nice features, and I'm going to just open it up because the marks that you were talking about with the date for Christmas, right there, Christmas 1934.
This compact was designed to be worn on the wrist, and it features compartments for money, a handkerchief, or even cigarettes. This necessaire is crafted from 14-karat yellow gold, adorned with delicate enameling, and highlighted by a diamond set clasp.
It's stunning. It is an American mark.
Despite some minor wear, the enameling is in excellent condition, a rarity for pieces that have endured the test of time. The tiny marks inside, including 14K and a serial number, suggest it is an American creation. However, its Art Deco design remains highly desirable and would sell for,
At auction, it would be a desirable piece. I would probably say about $4,000 to $6,000. Yeah, it's pretty. It's very sweet.
I'm speechless.
The guest showcased a silver teapot, which she inherited from her aunt. This teapot was crafted in the 18th century on Long Island by Elias Pelletreau, a Huguenot silversmith,
who was working in the middle of the 18th century, right through the Revolutionary period.
Underneath the piece, we can discern the maker's mark and some initials belonging to the guest's ancestors.
Do you know who these are?
David and Phoebe.
Okay, and they're your ancestors.
The teapot features a lustrous finish that highlights its purity. Although this piece was originally part of a set, the other items have unfortunately been lost over time. Considering its silver quality and the intricacies of its design, this teapot is estimated to be worth
Somewhere in the region of $20,000 probably.
That's nice to know.
But obviously worth far more to you as a piece of family.
I'm not about to let it go. I have a daughter who has 2 daughters herself, so we'll see if we'll go down that way.
So it can keep going down in the family.
Yes.
Good.
It is not often you see an elegant and decorative glass dish like this.
I bought
bought this about 30 years ago. I paid 25 cents for it, and it was a rummage sale.
This piece is an early 20th century French pâté de verre compote, which is often used to serve fruit, compote, or other desserts. This French compote was crafted by Gabriel Argy Rousseau, who was a French sculptor, ceramist, and master glass artist. Gabriel played a pivotal role in the early 20th century art glass movement. As seen, this French compote has his impressed signature on it. Given
Pâte
its
de verre was an ancient technique of taking a paste of ground-up glass in different colors, refining them and molding them to make this basic lovely surface here.
Artistic and vibrant colors, this glass would auction for.
Safe auction estimate at this stage would be $4,000 to $6,000.
Wow. Oh my goodness, that's impressive.
We've become so accustomed to the blockbuster movie Godzilla vs. King Kong that nowadays there's just so many collectible pieces of these characters. Today's piece, however, is not a model of King Kong, but of the reptile-like creature Godzilla. The model was made by Aurora Plastics based in New York.
This model would have been released around the time Godzilla vs. Mothra was being released at theaters.
And is a part of just 13 monster models they produced starting from 1962. Quite fascinating and original about this piece is that it has never been assembled or painted.
Film released in Japan. Now, when it comes to Aurora model kits, original is key, and this is as original as it gets. It's never been assembled, it's never been painted.
Along with the pieces to make the model is the original instruction set and the box, which surprisingly is still in top-notch condition. An original Aurora Godzilla model in today's market, with its uniqueness and peculiarities, would be worth.
An original Aurora Godzilla kit in today's world would be $300 to $500 at auction. So spending $1, you have literally done 300 to 500 times your dollar spent.
Awards are given out for great accomplishments achieved, and that's exactly why Oscars are coveted by movie stars. Today's piece, an Oscar, is quite revealing. The table Oscar, as it's commonly referred to, is not the actual Oscar we've come to know given to movie stars. The piece is actually a table decoration that was used at the Academy Awards in 1935.
Commemorating the 15th year of Columbia Pictures.
At auction today, this spectacular decorative piece would be worth.
This item at auction, we believe would sell for between $5,000 and $8,000.
Wow, no kidding. Gee.
This sapphire and diamond pendant could easily be mistaken for a piece from the royal treasury. Our guest today inherited these items from her grandmother.
My grandmother loved these pieces. She wore them a lot. My mom did. Both of them passed away when I was fairly young, so my sister and I inherited, and we've worn them and enjoyed them.
The brooch was crafted in Paris, France in 1926 and is set with pavé diamonds in platinum. It features a central baguette diamond with 2 tapered baguettes on either side. Unusually, the brooch is fully articulated, and the fitting on the back of the pin can be unscrewed.
Take this piece and it would hang from this piece here. So what you have here is you have the original platinum and diamond chain.
Also have the original platinum and diamond chain, as well as the platinum and diamond bail. Originally, these pieces were together as one unit, not separate. At auction, the jewelry in its current condition is estimated to be worth
about $30,000.
Whoa.
Marvel at the elegance of this exquisite piece of jewelry. The pendant displayed at the show was inherited by the guest from her grandmother.
I like it. I've worn it a great deal of the time over the years since you gave it to me.
Crafted from a yellow diamond weighing over 1 carat, this piece is a testament to timeless beauty. The diamond is a vintage, pear-shaped, old European cut. Turning the piece over reveals the signature of Tiffany & Company.
1920, you rarely found a yellow diamond in a piece of Tiffany jewelry.
Dating back to around 1918 to 1920, this piece exemplifies the craftsmanship of that era. As one of Tiffany's creations, it is highly sought after, and it would be valued at
Appraisal because it's rare, $20,000 and up. What do you think?
Holy mackerel!
Yeah. I like it. So you really hit the spot today. You knew what to pick.
Our guest purchased these 2 oil paintings 6 weeks ago at an estate auction. These vibrant artworks were created by Oliver Newberry Chaffee
This particular estate sale, I purchased 3 oil paintings. I paid under $600 for the 3.
An American modernist painter and printmaker. Signed and dated 1915, the paintings were truly ahead of their time. On the back of one painting is the inscription Motet, likely referring to the painter depicted in the foreground. Additionally, the paintings feature colorful houses and lush greenery. These 2 masterpieces by Oliver Newberry Chaffee would fetch a significant auction value of.
So I would say in a retail gallery, this might sell in the range of about $10,000 and this one for about $15,000. I love them, and I'm really so happy that you brought them in today.
I'm extremely happy I brought them. That's amazing.
The guest brought this family heirloom to the show today. This is a very unusual clock called a French industrial clock. Made in France around 1885 to 1895, this particular one is in the form of a locomotive with animation. The wheels on this clock actually turn when it runs.
The way you get those to work is you wind it right here. It's a separate mechanism that runs the automation. And then here we have the time and strike mechanism for the clock itself.
These clocks were popular in the 19th century, made in several different forms.
Locomotives, windmills where the windmill would rotate. They even made automobiles where the wheels would turn. They were very, very popular.
This particular example has some condition issues, which does affect its value.
Here was a barometer, which is now broken and the dial is missing, but that could be repaired.
Many important parts have been replaced or are missing, from the rods that drive the wheels to the barometer and others. Primarily made of brass with a wonderful patina, at auction, this locomotive clock would be estimated to be worth.
I would expect it to bring about $10,000 in its current condition.
Well, I appreciate that, Gary. Thank you very much.
Great aunt Savannah Beck attended Carlisle Indian School. In 1909, Savannah graduated with a nursing degree, a true family achievement. This treasure trove belonged to Savannah's daughter, passed down through generations.
It was basically the first off-reservation boarding school for the Indian families to send their kids to.
The star of the show is Savannah's diploma, proving her incredible accomplishment. This booklet, too, printed by the Carlisle students themselves, captures a graduation ceremony from 1909. Look closely. These photos show a legendary football team. The 1903 Carlisle squad, coached by iconic Pop Warner. Spot Art Sheldon, a football legend known for his clever hidden ball trick, and the biggest star, Jim Thorpe, a football and athletic legend. An autograph from an All-American halfback, a once-in-a-lifetime treasure for Savannah. Together, this archive could fetch.
At auction, with these 2 pieces obviously being the centerpiece of that collection, at $15,000 to $25,000. And I'm really thrilled that you brought it to the Roadshow today.
Thank you.
This artifact was gifted to the guest's wife's family and has been passed down through generations.
Little diamonds, opals, and a little bit of garnet, and some emeralds.
Wow.
But they're not real.
Oh.
Presented here is a Webb Peach Blow glass vase, created by the English glass company Thomas Webb & Sons, founded in 1837 by Thomas Webb. The vase is named Peach Blow because of its distinctive color gradient. The vase features embellishments of glass made to resemble diamonds, emeralds, and garnets, showcasing the artist's brilliance with the glass-on-glass technique. Although it bears no signature from the artist, the elegance of the glasswork speaks for itself.
Because it has fleur-de-lis, it really has a French flavor to it. So it may have been some special piece made to be presented to the family. It's not a signed piece.
Dating back to the late 19th century, this piece will sell at an auction for.
You would see it in a retail price range of $2,500 to $3,500.
Wow.
The guest purchased the bracelet at a bric-a-brac shop in Salem, Massachusetts about 10 years ago for around $900 to $1,000. The bracelet had vibrant Persian turquoise stones and buff tops, and the turquoise had retained its color despite being exposed to oils and the environment over time. The bracelet was from the Victorian era, likely made in France, and featured 18-karat yellow gold and diamonds. The center stone was an old mine diamond, surrounded by rose-cut diamonds and black enamel inlay. It also featured delicate details such as the black enamel inlay that made the bracelet special. The guest had never noticed a hinge on the bracelet, which opened to reveal a locket that had never been used. The locket was meant to hold a portrait or personal item. Due to the bracelet's beauty, history, and craftsmanship, the appraiser valued it at,
I would say at auction, this would easily be in a range of $6,000 to $8,000.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
The guest purchased the figure at a house sale and was told it was an opium pipe. The figure was identified as a Chinese export piece made for decorative purposes. It was made in China around 1800 and featured famille rose enamels in pink, purple, yellow, and green. The figure was a happy boy carrying a ruyi scepter, symbolizing wealth, prosperity, and authority. The holes on the back and head were for firing in the kiln, not for smoking. The figure represents the exotic East and was likely part of a group of figures in a prosperous merchant's house. The guest paid only $49 for the figure at the house sale. This charming and valuable piece, featuring colorful enamels and symbolic meaning, was valued at.
At auction today, this little Chinese export figure would bring in the range of $600 to $800.
Great.
So I'd say you did pretty well.
Sure.
And you have a happy little guy to look at also.
That's great, yeah.
Showcased today is a stunning guitar. A fortunate visit to a pawn shop led our guest's brother to this incredible find. This remarkable guitar is a Martin D28 model.
The exciting thing about this guitar is the date and all the features that it has. It's a Martin D28 made in 1944.
One of the last guitars with scalloped bracing, this piece is a rare gem.
The reason people love these so much is because that scallop bracing gives them a certain sound.
An elegant herringbone trim adds a touch of sophistication to the guitar's exterior. The tuners have been replaced, a minor alteration considering the guitar's age. This rare and valuable guitar is a collector's dream, boasting an auction worth of.
Guitar would retail for $35,000 to $45,000.
Well, that's kind of more than I thought.